we're a little bit of a slightly unknown entity, I think, in terms of the size and the scale. I think a lot of people are familiar with the brand. And then, I think the follow-on of what our digital footprint looks like is something that tends to be quite surprising to people. So we're, by Comscore standards, we're a top 20 multi-pub destination on the internet, and we facilitate basically high-performance outcomes for advertisers that are looking for a specific performance need, while also balancing the growth and the scale of being a very, very large, top 10 publisher for the variety of the different programmatic marketplaces that are available out there.
So how do you define performance, and what are some of the use cases that you're finding?
Yeah, so performance to us is basically the lifeblood of the organization. What has been the interesting transformation as it relates to the media and the advertising side is our scale and our growth and our success as a brand comes from the products that we have built internally for our own needs, building our own CRM database, facilitating hundreds of millions of dollars of wholesale direct-to-consumer product lines that we've developed ourselves, and now we've translated that to third parties. So for us, what we look at from a performance standpoint is the ability to drive a high-value performance outcome for a third-party marketer, whether that be lead gen, registration, app download, and now we're actually beginning to tease into some new product areas like very down funnel customer acquisition needs around cost per sale by leveraging some of the e-com mechanics that we've developed internally. But our goal and our value proposition is being able to connect a real consumer in an environment where they're engaged, they're aware, they understand the actions that they're taking with great offers and great experiences, that value exchange on the back end.
Great, and tell us a little bit how the whole programmatic ecosystem has developed for you guys, how you sell, I assume through different SSPs, how you interact with the marketplace.
Correct. Yeah.
Give us an idea about how you function.
Yeah, so programmatic has become very much a large part of our digital foundational revenue, if you will, and it didn't come by happenstance. The reason PCH Digital came about, right, from the direct mail evolution into the digital footprint that is now PCH, a byproduct of that was just the time and the engagement that we would see from our customers, right? 9-10 minutes per session type of engagement statistics obviously throw off a lot of opportunity for us to find interesting and smart ways to incorporate advertising as kind of a complementary experience to what the users are doing and taking action upon. Over the past 5 years, we've really transformed the way that we look at that engagement and monetizing that engagement appropriately by focusing on a strong programmatic setup. And what we typically like to say is, our users are, they're in a logged-in state. The data transfer that comes as part of the bid request is clean and pure, and that's something that can be very highly, reliant upon PCH as a need from the advertisers. And from there, we've been able to build, a significant programmatic business that encompasses very heavy video consumption that we produce on our side based upon the experiences that our users are taking forth, and very long session rates, which allow for smart, targeted programmatic advertisement to take hold.
So what are your thoughts about being a big independent publisher? The year ahead, we hear a lot about all the money that goes to Google and Facebook and the challenges for independent publishers. You guys are doing well. What are some of your takeaways, and what are some of your plans?
Yeah, it's really an interesting kind of inflection point, I think, for the industry. The concept of what is premium, I believe, is being truly redefined. Advertisers have absolutely spoken about the need for the ability to get outside of the walled gardens and find credible and scalable alternative publishers to be able to achieve their needs. And so for somebody like us, when I think about our position of being a very large publisher, a publisher that has an incredible data footprint, an incredible amount of data scale that can be provided as an asset in the advertising, the targeted advertising process, is something that I think is unique to us. When we look ahead, the ability to continue to leverage that kind of premium data footprint moving forward, I think, is only something that's going to allow for the success that advertisers are looking for to ultimately find a home. Because the reality is, the performance of the advertisements predicated on, the actuality of the users that you're looking to touch upon, and that's something that we can provide. So we're making a lot of investments to, one, make sure that we're bringing a lot of transparency forth in terms of how data is being used and collected, but the separate part of it is that we're making sure that we're aligning ourselves to the data needs that are available in market so that our advertisements that are targeted to our users will be that much more effective or that much more relevant. And we have this wonderful feedback loop that a lot of other publishers don't have. Because being a CRM-driven publisher, we have one-to-one communication with our customers on a regular basis. So we can either solicit, elicit, or generate that type of data that's needed to make the overall experience more personalized for the customer and more relevant for the advertiser.
And you have a growing business in e-commerce. You sell a lot of stuff, and that's something that a lot of publishers aspire to do, and many are doing. What advice do you have as far as success in e-commerce for publishers?
Yeah, it's a lot of publishers are teasing into it, right? Whether that's looking at developing their own products, developing channels for where the D2C market has emerged and where that's going, or really this this kind of resurgence of affiliate strategies across the board. At the end of the day, it all starts with the ability to acquire a user who's going to be engaged. And I think what's great for the market is as we see these business lines emerge across the publisher ecosystem, it's forcing those publishers or those destinations to think differently about their acquisition strategies. And so hopefully we're getting into the area where media performance is really indicative of not only the outcome but also the inputs. Because at the end of the day, we have to be talking to actual users. You have to be building a first-party community and an owned audience, if you will, to be able to make any of those channels effective. So if you can't start with being able to think differently about, it used to be all about reach and scale, and now it's about it's about basically scaled performance. I think that transition point is really the starting point for everybody's strategy. And if you're not there, you need to quickly get there because the market's moving in that direction from expectations.